So good morning. So I'm out on something a little bit different today. Something I first saw a few years back at the NEC was the beautiful Maeving RM1. And I was very interested in that bike. At that point in time, I think a brand new one was about £5,000. And yeah, thought it was a very interesting machine. Really quite taken with that. Problem I had, and sorry, I should explain the reason I was interested in it, is as a commuter bike. So I commute across Warrington, one side to the other, about 10 miles. Mix of roads, there's rural roads, there's town roads, and there's motorway options to get to where I work. Do ride an e-bike to work sometimes, then I also ride a road bike to work during the summer. I now use the motorbike and the car more frequently. So yes, an electric motorcycle has a bit of an appeal as a commuter. As much as I was tempted, the big issue I had with the original RM1 was the limit on the speed. So it only, I think it produced around 6 to 9 horsepower, something like that. It was quite a low powered, maximum speed of about 45 miles an hour. So that kind of really just meant it was a no-go for me. Then they launched the RM1S. Now the RM1S is the same bike, same kind of bobber style seat. Really like the look of it. The only difference is it's got a bigger motor. So these are Bosch hubbed motors on them. And it was generating just shy of 10 brake horsepower, I think, as a constant, with a peak of around, it's just shy of 15 brake horsepower. Everything's measured in kilowatts, so you have to convert it. But yeah, a bit more power, a bit more go. The problem I had then was the price. It's significantly more expensive. You're up to £7,500, £8,000, and it's the same with this. The RM2, realistically, is the same as the RM1, same bike, but with a pillion seat, a little bit of a longer chassis, and some beefed up rear suspension. So when you spec an RM1 or RM1S, you can actually upgrade the suspension. I think it's about £750 for Razor K-Shocks, or K-Shock razors. Yeah, K-Shock razors, sorry. Now, I'd never looked any further. I've been patiently waiting for the Flying Flea to emerge, and was kind of really waiting for details on that. And Motorcycle Live this year and Icon this year, even still now, is not launched. I mean, there's still no dates. There's still not much detail on it at all, and it's really disappointing. And then I happened to notice via an email that actually you can now test rides. I'm putting up for throttled open full, 25 miles an hour going up a hill. Right now, I am. Right, that's a sport mode. Right, so mode 1 gives you access to the basic power level, which is only good for about 45 miles an hour. Sport mode opens up full power and gives you a top speed of about 70. And actually that does pull up the hill a bit better. Anyway, yes, I was looking for Flying Flea, but still no information. Then I saw an email that you could test ride these, and whereas previously the test ride centres have been London, I think Birmingham, possibly Newcastle, now there is one at e-bike capital in Bolton, so 45 minutes away from me, very close by. So I thought, yes, definitely worth a look. It gives me a comparative. I thought I was riding an RM1S today, but actually I'm on the RM2, which probably is better because it's got those shocks on it. I hadn't realised until I was speaking to the gentleman in the showroom, and I forget his name, I apologise. So, to make it go, normal ignition sequence. In fact, let me just show you. Normal ignition sequence when you turn on. There we go. Gives us a little intro bit. Hold the brake and press drive. Now, you've just seen something straight away. Brake on this side here. So this is actually more like an e-bike, in that you've got brakes on the left and the right. Now, the difference here, and this is a little bit of reprogramming the brain, because you have nothing for your feet at all. Obviously, there's no clutch, but there's also no brake pedal. The way this works is you got your typical front brake on the right hand side here, which is not bad, pretty powerful, but you've then got a linked front and rear brake on the left hand lever, and that, let me say, 30 miles an hour That is seriously impressive, that link brake. Now what it does, I believe it's a 60-40 distribution rear to front, so predominantly braking on the rear, and that is a very strong setup. But these are around 300mm disc on the front and I think it's a 260 on the back, so they're decent sizes. I'm not sure, it looks like a twin, yeah, two piston caliper on the front. I'm not sure what's on the back. I'll have a look when we stop, but yeah, that's pretty good, the braking side of things. A little bit weird to get used to, and I think that does kind of lend itself to be more of a an e-bike thing than a motorbike, because I'm not really sure where these sit, because let's face it, they're not motorbikes, they're not a replacement for motorbike, they are city commuters. That throttle, by the way, absolutely pinned. It's quite windy going up here, but that's still getting up to decent speeds. I mean, 50, if I believe the speedometer, we're in a 50 limit. Now, as Adnav says, when this is reading 57, I'm reading 51, so it is a little bit inaccurate. But actually, I've seen these displays aftermarket, so I'm sure it can be recalibrated. So yeah, interesting. Now, electric bikes as general, there's no appeal, is there, in terms of there's no engine, there's no noise, no drama. So what you're left with then is the aesthetic. And this has got a beautiful aesthetic. It really is stunning. This red paint job, I have to say, really beautiful. Very, very nice looking. I don't know if it regenerates as we roll downhill. One thing I can tell you, handling is not does not flow. It feels like he kind of, I'll have to have a look at the tyres when we stop. It's almost like you've got a slightly squared off tyre, in that it rides beautifully flat and smooth. So maybe this is what it's geared for, because in the city, going on straight roads, turning absolutely fine. A flowing bend, you kind of feel like you're hitting the lip of a squared off tyre. It's very disconcerting. And they are very skinny tyres. I think they're 19-inch front and rear, but very, very skinny. So as I say, it's a hub motor, Bosch hub motor. I believe the batteries are Samsung, so this is all quality product. And I have to say, everything looks and feels very nice. The range is good for, I believe, up to 80 miles. Now, I would be interested to see actually what conditions you need riding in to get 80 miles out of these kind of batteries, but yeah, it's certainly more than viable for commuting for a few days on for me. I keep going for the brake. Keep going for the foot brake, sorry. So I'm riding the snail play. So Interesting today said I'm the first one to actually take this bike out from their centre. It's got 131 miles on it. I think he's had, I should have been the 5th test ride, but everyone else has cancelled. I think the weather this week has been pretty icy and slimy. See Manchester in the distance over there. So we're up in Bolton at the moment. This is where the centre is. Now, one thing that is impressing me is that suspension. It's really smooth. And this has got beefed up shocks on the back, and I'm a heavy guy, 105 kilos at the moment. And yeah, that's genuinely has been quite impressive. It's a shame the tyres and the, here we go, speed bump, I'll test it. Yeah, okay, that's not bad at all. That's firm. I expected it to be a little bit bouncy, if anything, but it's really not. It's very well controlled. Very nicely controlled suspension. I think maybe you get used to the thing. It feels very heavy to push on the turn, and I think, again, same thing, those tyres must have quite a square profile to them. We'll have to have a look at, see what they are. Now, it is capable of 70 miles an hour, so it can do motorway work. In theory, I'm not sure if it'll get there or not. And I believe they have kind of built-in GPS trackers and things like that as well. So, yeah, very small, very light. I believe it's about 140 kilos, but it really doesn't feel it. It feels very, very light indeed. So I'm not sure where it carries that weight. Maybe it's all the batteries down here. So the batteries are all in this container here. I'll stop and show you in a second. There's some charge ports and bits and pieces. All LED lights and indicators, as you'd expect. You know what? I think I'm going to spin around, go the other way. All right, U-turn's actually not bad. That's not bad at all. So yeah, you can certainly see the appeal for a little city bike. Yeah, kind of getting used to that turning now. A little disconcerting at first, but she's not bad. It is slippy out today, so I'm not gonna try too much. Please stay there. Thank you, sir. Yeah, those brakes are seriously impressive. The levers aren't adjustable. That brake lever is quite a long way out, which is a bit of a shame. Could do with being a shorter lever. Right, so there we go. Test again. I mean, Mornington's fairly flat, so it isn't too much of a worry for me. But let's say 35 miles an hour. We're in sport mode. This is a 50 limit. Can we get up to speed? And I'm going to base it on the sat nav because I think that speedometer is wildly inaccurate. Short answer, no we can't. So at 45 miles an hour, that's about flat out now. So 45 miles an hour, and we've lost about 5% charge going up and down that one hill. So yeah, okay, it is very much confined to being a city commuter then, isn't it? You're not going to be doing big trips on this. Although one thing I did say is the charging module now is small enough that it fits in a bag. Fits in the tank here. So you could, in theory, take the charge module with you and charge up as you go. Let's just put in here a second. So press the neutral button and then you're in neutral. Let me just stand down. It's a fabulous looking machine. Proper retro looks. Funny, I took the shotgun to the shop this morning, and yeah, it's a similar aesthetic that has to be said. They're kind of blacked out, very retro looking. So this is the 2-seat, the RM2, the new one. You see the hub motor in there, big old hub motor. See, we've got a single pot caliper on the back, and here's a twin pot on the front. By the looks of it, yeah, just two piston caliper. As you can see there, we've got K-Tech shocks on the back. Built in the UK. I believe ex-Norton, ex-Triumph people. And you can see the motorcycle design coming through in this. It is a genuinely beautiful machine, and the details. Like, these just electrical cables in here, but putting them in braided hoses like that just looks fabulous. You know, carbon fibre guards, and I think that is, yeah, I suspect that is proper carbon fibre as well. Even the headlight has more than a hint of Triumph about it, doesn't it? Things like bar end mirrors are stock. You know, the branding everything is nicely on point, nicely finished. Switchgear is very simple. You hold the braking on the left and go through your drive modes with that drive button. Other than that, it's all standard switchgear. Now, as I turn off, I believe we have a number of seconds to unlock. So there's a little unlock button here. If I turn off, open, there we go, I can open that. You say you get a little cubby hole in there, little USB charger as well. So you get your tyre inflation kits, you get your battery charger and stuff in there, your lunchbox, whatever. As a commuter bike, oh, beautiful little thing. Right, so I can't actually get in the battery cover, but in this case here, there's a little socket just there for your charger. So obviously you wouldn't be charging outside with that, but you could certainly charge inside. Right, I think I've got it. So during the 5-second shutdown, so as you turn off, you get the 5-second shutdown, you press and hold. There we go. And now our battery case is open, and as you can see, the batteries come in and out of there. So nicely designed. So yeah, what do you think? In the comments. I think it is a nice looking machine. I would say you're not buying an electric bike for the power, the sound, the emotion. So you're buying it for the aesthetic and the practicality commuting, and that is a great looking machine. Nearly forgot tyres. So yeah, we're on Dunlop. Oh, this is Mitas tyres. I thought they used Dunlops on these, but as you can see, it's quite an old looking profile. So yes, that explains the feel. You got a lot of grip on the front, and then you just lose it on the side. It's like a mountain bike tyre. It is very stable at speed, but that turning on the edge is a bit weird. So yeah, that would take some getting used to. But overall, I think that is a lovely thing. Okay, so now I'm in eco mode. So the 80 miles is only in the eco mode. That is slow. That's flat out. It's going to limit itself at 30 miles an hour, I believe. So I don't think you would ride in that mode. I think you'd use either mode 1 is okay, but it's going to struggle with hills. But sport mode. Now this has got a lot of torque. It's like 236 newton meters of torque. So even though it's only, 10 brake horsepower, 15 brake horsepower peak, it feels okay when you twist the throttle. It's kind of got a lot of go there. So yeah, very nice. Suspension travels about 110 on the front and about 80 or 90 on the rear. I think I'll put it on the screen now if I've got that wrong. But yeah, one complaint for me, the bar grips are a bit short. I'm holding on to the edge of the mirror, which is not very comfortable. I could do with them being just a little bit longer, but I am abnormally sized, I accept that. So yes, the silence is disconcerting, definitely. But it really is a nice looking machine. Doesn't feel uncomfortable. Seat's pretty good. I think it is just losing my nerve with those tyres, to be honest. I think once you get used to that profile of tyre, it'll probably be fine, but just feel like you're hitting an edge and it becomes a little bit... There's a little bit of movement at the back as you go up on that edge of that tyre. That just feels uncomfortable. Unsettling, should I say, not uncomfortable. But yeah, to be honest, if I was using this to ride across Warrington, I'm either going straight down the M62. I have got an urban route, but the bends are minimal. Or I'm going through town and then it's traffic light to traffic light. Let's try it. Yeah. I mean, it's not clearly designed to be a sporty machine. I don't know if you could change those tyres out or not, to be honest, or whether they are specific to this bike. I don't know, because of that hub motor. So we're down to 76. I don't think we've done more than 5 miles. I think we've lost about 20% of the battery. Now, admittedly, I'm in sport mode and I've been holding the throttle out fully most of the time. There's a decent amount of grip on that tyre, and obviously there's nowhere near enough power to spin up, but just that was pretty slippy on that junction just there, and it's pulled out of it happily. So yeah, maybe I just need to get some confidence on that turn. But yeah, anyway, interest in this really was for commuting. Now I really want the Flying Flea, and the Flying Flea is a lovely machine. I saw it at the NEC. I'll put a picture up on the screen now. There's another colourway which isn't shown, like the green and silver standard one. So I want the neon one, and I don't necessarily want the more scramblery like one. So one of the things I'd really been waiting to see about the Flying Flea in particular was the charging method. So the original RM1 used to take the batteries out to charge, to put them in a dock, so it's very much like an old e-bike. Not the most convenient, though. I see if you work in a city, yeah, maybe you just carry them in with you, I don't know. However, I drive electric cars. We've gone through a conversion in the place I work at in terms of sustainability, because we have a lot of fleet vehicles. They've been pushing electric vehicles hard, so we've converted most of the vehicles we have. We're a kind of 125 strong fleet that is now around 70% electric. And part of that, and by the way, we do kind of salary sacrifice and things to encourage people that are commuting in their own vehicles to use electric. And one thing that I have asked about is whether salary sacrifice could be achieved for a Maeving or a Royal Enfield as well. So I'm still waiting for some answers on that. But in the meantime, what's happened is the infrastructure for charging has developed. So my home has a 7.5 kilowatt charger. Our office is flooded with 11 to 22 kilowatt chargers, and they're free to use. So actually the appeal of commuting on an electric bike rather than petrol is that it's completely free, other than the cost of the bike. So slightly disappointed obviously then that you can't charge this outside. You've got to charge it on a charging block in the house, or sorry, in the garage. And it appears that the Flying Flea is the same. It's going to use a standard 3-pin plug socket to charge, which again means you could charge it in the garage. But for me, that is a restriction, because I would want to be able to charge with a Type 2 cable. Now, I saw something when I was specking this up online that you can get a Type 2 charge cable adapter for this. So you can actually plug it into a Type 2 charger. The only caveat was that you can't charge outside in wet weather. So you need to put some kind of casing around the cable, I'm guessing. But actually, I don't know if that bothers me too much, because I would probably only use this as a fair weather commuter. Saying that, it's damp today and I'm using it. So would you want the restriction of not being able to use it on a damp day, even if it's not pouring with rain? So yeah, yeah, that is a bit of a keep going for the horn position is exactly where I want my indicators. So I've hit that multiple times already. Then you come on to the price. So as I say, £7,500 to £8,500. There's a lot of bikes you can get for that money. It genuinely would be a bit of a luxury extravagance, or a toy. If I could get one on salary sacrifice and I was saving myself tax on it, that's a different proposition. I think that's really something that I would then consider. But I do kind of want one. I kind of want an electric bike. I've loved my electric cars. I have motorbikes in part because of those electric cars, I think, because I needed something that was adds a bit of drama and enjoyment. And I think petrol motorbikes, I hope they don't go anywhere anytime soon. I know there's a theoretical end date for them, but I really hope that gets extended, because let's face it, they are not the problem as far as pollution goes, are they? So yeah, really hope petrol motorbikes are here to stay for the long term. But I would still very much consider one of these for an electric bike, for some commuting fun, and pop into the shops and just, I don't know, there's something very appealing about it. So yeah, really keen to see the Flying Flea when that comes out, and see how it compares to this now, because this is super smooth. That is really impressive to ride. Power's not going to blow you away, but in that sport mode it's enough, as long as you don't live somewhere hilly. I think if you live in a city like Bath or something like that, you might struggle with some of the hills. But for me, Warrington, Manchester, they're all pretty flat. So I think this would be absolutely fine. I haven't had an opportunity, but clearly it'll be very easy to filter on this. It's nice and narrow. The bars aren't big at all. The bike itself's very, very light. And you obviously can ride this on a CBT, I think. I don't think you need a full motorcycle license for it. The other thing I didn't say about the pricing, the other thing that concerns me, just yesterday I then saw, I think it was an Instagram link come up with a Black Friday deal, which just lops £1,500 off the price. Now, I like a bargain as much as the next person, but if they're openly advertising, there's no restriction to that. If you just pay full price for one of these and then suddenly £1,500 off, what does that do to the used price of your one? I don't think there are any used RM2s around yet. I've seen a few RM1s and RM1Ss. You can pick up a standard RM1 for about £3,000, I think. The RM1Ss are holding a bit better, but that's not surprising because it is a more capable machine. But yeah, I think there is a bit of an issue there if they can just knock off £1,500 off a £7,500 bike. And the other problem they have, of course, is I don't know where the Flying Flea is going to be placed in terms of pricing, but you have to consider where Royal Enfield's price points are normally, and do wonder whether that's going to be a cheaper alternative to this, in which case they're going to have some stiff competition, aren't they? Because it's a good looking machine as well. Oddly, this is more retro looking than the Flying Flea, even though the Flying Flea actually has some proper kind of heritage behind the story of the bike, and that I forget the term of that suspension fork on the front, but it's a very interesting design, isn't it? Designed to be lightweight and dropped out of a plane. Whereas this is more of a styling exercise, but a very, very well executed styling exercise, I have to say. But anyway, yeah, let me know what you think in the comments. I'm nearly back now, so I'll drop the bike back off and head home on my shotgun. Keen to hear what you all think of this, whether you'd even consider an electric bike for as a commuter alongside your petrol bikes. I'm not suggesting the kind of conversion like the Zero Light conversion to a big electric touring bike, but as a second or third bike, a city commuter, what do you think? Let me know in the comments. And as always, thank you very much for watching. Hope you've enjoyed this, and I'll see you on the next one.